Welcome to my channel. So I am reading from my upcoming book, The Fashion Formula, and I'm just going to read some of the introduction. So, introduction. The ugly truth is that most new fashion startups fail and fold within the first year or two. This is exactly why I decided to write this book, so to dramatically improve your chances of success and stack the cards in your favor, as my friend Heather likes to say. So why do so many brands fail? Most new founders lack formal education or real-world training in how the fashion industry actually works. Couple that with getting bits and pieces online, find a manufacturer, sample your product, design a logo, post on social media. It's contradictory, incomplete, and out of order. Without the benefit of any prior experience, they're taking advice out of context, acting on isolated tips, and doing reasonable things at the wrong time. They don't know what they don't know. The problem isn't a lack of talent, creativity, or passion. The real issue is this. No one shows you what to do, when to do it, and how to avoid making costly mistakes that come from assuming. Without the playbook, everything feels chaotic. They don't understand who their customer is or what the competitive landscape looks like. They don't know the difference between building a brand and merely producing a product. They don't understand the complete manufacturing process or how to price and position themselves intentionally. And most importantly, they don't know how to market and sell to the right people. Money gets burned, self-doubt creeps in, they never launch, or worse, they launch to crickets and fold within the first year. Others get so overwhelmed and discouraged from the start that they never take any action at all. They abandoned the dream entirely, convinced it was unrealistic, when the real problem was not knowing exactly what to do and when to do it. That's where this book comes in. Today's challenge: too much noise, not enough truth. New founders face information overload and a lack of clarity, hours of Googling and YouTube searches, Reddit threads, misguided advice everywhere. Others rely on AI models that often give generic guidance that doesn't apply to the realities of building a fashion brand. I've seen ChatGPT give flat out bad advice and tell me I'm right when I challenge it. That's true. Those teaching online claim to have exclusive industry knowledge, but the reality is mixed. Much of the advice is outdated, incomplete, or comes from people who've either failed or never actually launched a brand. And while there are a few talented early-stage founders sharing what they've learned in their first couple of years, and that perspective has value, continuing to build momentum year over year for decades is quite another story. That's where I come in. My story. When I launched my first label, Alice and Trixie, in 1997, the internet wasn't teaching this. It barely existed. We're talking about dial-up access at cafes. This is true. There was no social media, no YouTube. Mentors, coaches, and online courses weren't a thing. You learned by trial and error. Luckily, I already had a built-in audience of buyers. I founded Times2, a wholesale showroom in New York City that connected brands with retailers. I curated under-the-radar labels I believe would be the next big thing, and I was usually right. I worked with countless designers, merchandising their collections, advising them on what to expand, what to drop, and what would sell. Together, we'd create styles that buyers were eager to order, and we became known for launching the major trends that defined the 90s, many of which are resurfacing today. The baby tee alone is everywhere right now. Every major store and fashion editor passed through seasonally to discover what was hot and new. We later expanded to Los Angeles, and I opened a retail store in New York City, selling brands I represented and others I bought from the market. The landscape was completely different then. Direct-to-consumer, as we know it, didn't exist. Your options were pop-up markets, trunk shows, opening your own brick-and-mortar store, or selling wholesale to independent boutiques, department stores, chains, and mail-order catalogs, and wholesale was king. Multi-brand stores were everywhere, curating the best emerging labels. That's how customers discovered brands. It didn't start there, though. I'd spent years working my way up through fashion retail, starting on the selling floor, rapidly promoted to store manager, and finally to buyer for a fashion chain, all the while taking night classes at the Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT. By the time I opened my showroom, I'd spent 12 years experiencing the fashion business from different angles, and after 8 years of building other designers' brands, I was ready to launch my own. With 2 decades in fashion already behind me, I launched Alice and Trixie and spent the next 22 years building and scaling it to well over $100 million in lifetime revenue. We weathered 9/11, global recessions, hurricanes Katrina and Sandy, massive industry shifts, and changing consumer behavior. Read my memoir, Haute Pursuit, for the full story. It's on Amazon. Those crises forced me to become a better leader, a sharper merchant, and a more creative problem solver. You don't make it through without learning what keeps a brand alive and thriving. We were bootstrapped from day one, zero debt, no loans, no drawing against orders. We ran entirely on what we made profitably for 22 years. That's rare. The result of winging it. Random tips don't add up to a proven formula. When founders lack a clear roadmap, they make expensive mistakes. They order 500 units when they should have started with 50. They work with the wrong suppliers and don't find out until it's too late. They invest in custom everything before they know if anyone will buy. They spend thousands to launch a website with no email list, no audience, and no pre-launch buzz, then wonder why no one shows up. First samples don't match their vision because the tech packs were unclear, if they even know what a tech pack is. Factory miscommunications lead to costly mistakes throughout production. Professional photo shoots miss the mark because brand positioning wasn't defined. Operational costs spiral because they don't know how to prioritize what to spend on. The list goes on. The result, botched execution, wasted time and money, and in many cases, a quiet launch to zero buyers. Not because the product is bad, but because they skipped the foundational steps to build a brand position to sell. This book gives you the formula so you can build a brand people actually want to buy. It walks you through the process I've refined over decades as a brand founder, designer, creative director, wholesale sales and marketing strategist, and advisor to emerging labels. I could go on. I go on to where this book is different, I have more to the intro, but I just wanted to give you the beginning of this intro. This is the Fashion Formula. It'll be coming out in late September, early October, and I'm super pumped about it. The book's written. I'm going through it now. I'm doing a final read through, and then I'll go off to typesetting, start doing the cover design. At any rate, this is the Fashion Formula. I'm Angela Taylor George. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time.